Defining your core values, I now know, helps you avoid a lot of mistakes in life, especially when it comes to relationships. If you can clearly define what your core values are, then it's easier to make decisions in terms of relationships, because you work out what you will accept and what you won't accept. There's a line drawn in the sand that you will not step over or allow anyone else to step over your boundary. And I think one of the problems is we don't talk enough about values in our youth, in our teenage life, especially these days. A lot of us are taught through media, social media. We don't really question things, and we aren't really taught anything of value. So, in particularly, men will get into relationships if they don't have really good values or core values or can describe them. They'll get into relationships and accept things that they feel aren't right, but they don't go with that feeling, and eventually it ends in pain. Some people that do have good idea of their values and core values often choose a life that is in line with those values, and don't have a perfect life, but they definitely have a life where you're not continually making mistakes. So my suggestion is, go to YouTube, type in what are values, how to identify your core values if you don't know what they are, and define them, really get to know them, and then work on them and stick with them. And when you go out into life, let those values be a guide and like a security for you, because they will help you avoid a lot of issues in life, especially around relationships. So go to YouTube, type in what are values, how to identify them, and how to live by them. The other thing that I have learnt too, reflecting on life as a middle-aged man, is boundaries. You've got to define your boundaries also, but what are they? What will you accept, what won't you accept? So really define your boundaries as well and stick by those, because if you have grown up in a world where you're not too sure, like I said, if your values aren't very strong, your boundaries aren't very strong either. So you will start falling into other people's dreams and goals, and you'll never fulfill your own, because you're unsure of yourself. You're unsure of who you are, what makes you passionate, what makes you feel alive. So take some time out for yourself. Go to YouTube, type in the search bar, what are values, how to define them, how to live by them, what are boundaries, how to live by them, and see how you go, because it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Like I said, as a middle-aged man reflecting on life now, if I could go back to my younger self, I would help him really define his values and love those values and be proud of those values in himself, and really define his boundaries too and stick by them, because I tell you what, you avoid a lot of pain later in life. So for guys, if you're struggling, really just take some time to reflect on those, on values and boundaries if you don't know what they are. For those that do know what they are, well, that's good. Teach other young men and women too. We all need to really just grow strength in ourselves and be more self-loving. So that's a little bit of advice I wanted to share today, and thanks for listening.